Hello guys, how's it going? My name is Dal. A couple of weeks ago, Blizzard revealed that the new expansion for World of Warcraft is right around the corner, with the new expansion announcement dropping on the April 19th. There's been a lot of speculation around the next chapter of World of Warcraft. Could it actually be a dragon-themed expansion like so many quote-unquote leaks have been hinting at? What new undiscovered zones could we possibly explore? And what potential new class or new playable race could we possibly be getting? And what brand new features and content could the new expansion introduce? Today I want to go over the 10 features that I would love to see out of the next expansion of World of Warcraft. After the rocky early start of Shadowlands, a lot of players want the next expansion to be amazing. And I think if Blizzard focuses on these 10 crucial features, then the next expansion could have some future potential. But right before we get into today's list, most of you guys watching these videos are still not subscribed. However, the more of you are reminded, the more of you do. So let's keep it going. Subscribe to the channel as well as hit the bell if you're watching these videos anyway, especially if you're looking forward to seeing more updates about the next World of Warcraft expansion. The first thing I want to see out of the next expansion is improvements to our class abilities and even new talents. For a short amount of time, we gained our powerful artifact weapons, donned our Azurite gear, and empower ourselves with the class Covenant abilities. But come the next expansion, we'll lose access to all of these player power progression, which is the biggest flaw of borrowed powers in the first place. Back in Mists of Pandaria, Blizzard added Demonic Gateway to the Warlock toolkit. Since then, this ability has been class-defining, allowing a Warlock to transport a raid or a party across a short distance. I would love to see more abilities like these that truly define what our classes are capable of in the next few expansions. I also want to see Blizzard continuing to improve on the leveling experience of the 10.0 expansion. In the next update of Shadowlands for the patch 9.2.5, Blizzard is going to be enabling cross-faction content, which will let you start timing Mythic Plus dungeons, competing in the arenas, and slaying raid bosses together with the members of the opposite faction. One of the biggest benefits, in my opinion, of cross-faction is that friends can play with friends no matter the factions that you pick. I would love to see the cross-faction extended to leveling, so that friends could experience the new expansion together no matter the faction that they chose to play. I would also love to be able to queue for all dungeons of any expansion while leveling my character. With the new expansion likely raising the maximum player level, hopefully Blizzard will account for the chromie time leveling so that you're still relatively quickly able to get through the leveling experience and jump into the next expansion. I also think it's about time to finally add a Valor Dungeon Vendor for the next expansion of World of Warcraft. There's a lot of people diving back into Mythic Plus dungeons for the Season 3 of the patch 9.2 until they find their best in slot items, which are usually trinkets or weapons. Some players' luck can be fantastic and they get their best in slot pieces in just a few dungeon runs, and some players are just not so lucky, with one of my guildies literally spending over 80 runs inside a Theater of Pain until he finally got his ruby trinket. The only way of gearing through Mythic Plus dungeons is by random chance of getting the item after spending roughly 40 minutes inside of the instance. A Valor vendor would be able to create some sort of a bad luck protection by letting you spend the value you earn inside of the dungeon on your best in slot dungeon only item drop. I think it's really healthy to give players more than one way of acquiring the items they need in order to be competitive for PvE content. Speaking of gearing and being competitive, let's talk about PvP gearing improvements. I think overall it's a good idea that Blizzard decided to bring back PvP gear for PvP content for the expansion of Shadowlands. Recently, they also added a minimum item level scaling for the solo shuffle, which will allow an undergear player trying out the new PvP mode to have the gear scaled to the minimum level, so that they stand more of a chance trying to be competitive in the new PvP mode. The minimum item level scaling is fantastic in my opinion because it allows players that are undergeared at least somewhat of a fighting chance. And hopefully we'll see more minimum item level scaling brought in for the other modes of PvP. I would also love to see a new class for the next expansion of World of Warcraft. A lot of people are convinced that if we are to get a new class in the next expansion, it's either going to be the Tinkerer or some sort of a dragon-themed class. The Tinker class idea has been floating around since Battle for Azeroth, ever since Blizzard added those Tinker-type enemy teams for you to fight against in the island expeditions, with machines, gadgets, and turrets that a Tinker would likely use. But if the next expansion is dragon-themed, as a lot of the quote-unquote leaks have suggested, then potentially we could be getting a dragon-themed class instead. But at that point, it's a very uncharted territory, since a dragon-based class could be anything. It could be a warrior that summons a dragon to fight by their side, kind of like a survival hunter with a very big pet. Or a class that transforms into a dragon, similar to how a druid transforms into various animal forms. I heard a lot of ideas of what a dragon class would be like, but I never found them super believable. But maybe you guys can convince me in the comments below. What do you think a dragon themed class would look like and play like in the next expansion if we are to get one? Either way, it's been a very long time since we had a new class added for an expansion of World of Warcraft, with the last one being the Demon Hunter way back in Legion. Whatever the content that the next expansion brings, hopefully they have their own version of the Mage Tower Challenge. Blizzard is generally fantastic at creating dungeons and raids, especially when it comes to creating challenging content for multiple groups of players to experience together. The Mage Tower Challenge back in Legion broke that mold by creating a raid-style challenging content for a solo player to tackle. What also made it better is the content wasn't mandatory. It was something for you to do and work on over time, as you figure out the boss strategies and find a way to overcome this impossible challenge. And once you do, cosmetic rewards were waiting for you. The recent iteration of Torghast, a brand new mode called the Jail's Gauntlet, borrowed a lot of that inspiration of the Mage Tower, making it mostly an optional activity that's there for cosmetics like toys, pets, and a mount. And this mode has also been met with a lot of positive reception from the community. I'm also very glad that in patch 9.2, Blizzard brought back the tier sets with their own tier set bonuses. It's a reliable gearing system that worked in previous expansions, and it feels very exciting to interact with currently in Shadowlands. I'm also a huge fan of how every single class gets a unique appearance for their tier sets. And I like the idea behind tier set bonuses and how they can change every single tier, so the way your character will play in one raid can be completely different in the next, which can bring some variety to the way that your class plays and make it feel less stagnant. I think we also need more Timewalking instance content. Over the last few expansions, Blizzard has meticulously crafted dungeons and raids and filled them with bosses to populate those instances. And in most cases, when we move on to the next expansion, those dungeons and raids get completely abandoned. During the last Legion Timewalking event, Blizzard was able to bring back some of the Mythic Plus dungeons from the Legion era, made completely playable with the Mythic Plus rule set in the expansion of Shadowlands. Using the Timewalking scaling technology, Blizzard was able to revive some of the original Mythic Plus dungeons of the Legion expansion, and there's a ton of content from older expansions that could see some major benefits from Blizzard implementing more of that Timewalking scaling system. I also want to see more improvements to character customization in the next expansion. I was very impressed with Blizzard's recent patch for Shadowlands that brought in the new customization for the Nightborn, Void Elves, the High Mountain Tauren, and the Lightforged Draenei. The allied races that were severely behind every other race in the game that got brand new customization options when it comes to creating your character for the expansion of Shadowlands. There's always potential for Blizzard to add more customization options for the rest of the allied races. Cold Tyrants, Dark Iron, Magar, and Xanda still look fantastic and as good as the day that were added back in Battle for Azeroth, though at this point their customization options are a little bit thin. Blizzard knows that players love customizations, whether it is customizing their character or the transmog their character can wear. Finally, I want to see a lot more of the old-friendly Shadowlands mechanics continue on into the next expansion. I'm a huge fan of the idea that players will be able to craft their tier sets in just a few weeks in Zereth Mortis. I think a system like this needs to exist in every other expansion going forward, another way for players to be able to guarantee certain item drops, especially when it comes to player power and player progression. I'm also a huge fan of your alts being able to skip certain redundant things like certain story quests. Like if your main character has already done the full storyline for the Necrolords of Maldraxxus, your alts can join that covenant, get the soul binds they need without ever having to do a single questline inside of that covenant. Or how our main characters are able to finish the main storyline for Zareth Mortis and earn Revered with the Enlightened Brokers so that our alts can utilize the double legendary bonus. I would also love to see reputation with different factions become account-wide. Or let's say whenever your main reaches a certain milestone, like hitting friendly, revered, or exalted with a faction, then the rest of your characters on your account also get the benefits of hitting exalted, revered, or friendly with that faction. I'm also a big fan of endgame currencies like Conquest or Valor, having some sort of a catch up if your alt character is behind. If let's say I want to play my shaman 5 weeks into the new Mythic Plus or PvP season, it would be helpful if that character could earn more Conquest points or Valor points, so that character could efficiently catch up to where my main is currently at. Generally, anything that allows your alts to catch up to where your main is so they can engage with the endgame content as efficiently as your main is a big plus in my opinion. But that's going to be my list of the 10 features that I would love to see from the next expansion. Thank you all so much for watching this video. I do hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Also, feel free to share with us in the comments what are your most anticipated features for the next upcoming expansion, and what do you think the themes of the expansion could potentially be. If you guys enjoyed this video or found it informative, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. I would very much appreciate it. As always, in the description of every video and live stream, we have a link to our Discord community channel. Feel free to hop in and let me know what you thought about this video, or join any of the discussions we have over on our Discord channel. But otherwise, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I do hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and as always, I'll see all of you guys in another video.